I think for me, work doesn't stop. I mean, there's still other people that are not affected in our area, and the show must go on. I mean, yes, we are dealing with a lot here, but there's still other people out there that it's not affecting their everyday life, and they still need help with their business and other things, or like something's happening with the software, or they need a question answered. So as long as my phone is working and I'm able to respond to people, like I just feel as work goes on and our jobs don't change.
This is Secrets for Success.
Welcome to the Secrets for Success podcast. I'm your host, Greg Todd. Thank you as always for joining me. Thank you guys for being here.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Wonderful. Thank you, people, for listening. Great. Okay, you can't say anything to me. All right, seriously. I'm here with my team. I'm here with Brittany and Andrew. You guys already know them. And these last 2 weeks, we've had a lot going on here in our community. In today's podcast, I don't know what the title I'm going to make it, but I was thinking about this morning, and it's like how to handle times of adversity, the team's perspective. If you guys listen to me, I'm assuming you listen to the podcast. You probably listen to me on other platforms. You know what has been going on in my area. We've just gone through 2 storms within a 2-week span. The first storm absolutely devastated the barrier islands, my community that I live in, and you guys were affected by that storm as well. But the second one, you guys were affected even more. And it's the first really near direct hit for the Tampa Bay area in 103 years.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, we've the show must go on, right? And people have heard my kind of perspective on it. And I've been pretty open about the lows and the highs and all the other stuff. But we haven't really heard your guys' perspective on it. And, I think there's this thought out there like that there's no good work anymore, and people don't work hard and people don't care and da-da-da-da-da. And over the last 3 weeks, I haven't experienced that. I've actually experienced people that have lifted me up, even though you're going through basically the same thing. Maybe we've lifted each other up. I don't know. But basically, I wanted to get your perspective on, everything that's been going on. Now, with that said, I want to just kind of do one more kind of lay the foundation. We just did an event. Okay? All right. So it wasn't like work as usual. We only do 3 events a year, at least at the time of this recording. We do 2 challenges and we do 1 live event. So it's a big deal. And so we just went through an event and really didn't miss a beat throughout the event and with the clients that we're currently still working with. I mean, maybe a couple rescheduling stuff here and there, but for the most part, like nothing has changed. So
that event happened in between both storms.
That event happened
the week after the storm and the week before the other storm.
Yeah.
So it was right smack dab at the stop.
So I would like to hear from the both of you, kind of your perspective on, work. What, like, just your mindset. Yeah. I just want to hear from you. So who wants to start?
Go ahead, Brittany.
Okay. I think for me, work doesn't stop. I mean, there's still other people that are not affected in our area, and the show must go on. I mean, yes, we are dealing with a lot here, but there's still other people out there that it's not affecting their everyday life, and they still need help with their business and other things, or like something's happening with the software, or they need a question answered. So as long as my phone is working and I'm able to respond to people, like I just feel as work goes on and our jobs don't change.
So let me ask you this. Do you guys feel, and I'll direct this question to you. How much do you feel like your role matters? Because I think I think that's the big thing. I think it's like when you feel like what I do matters, and there are so many people that are counting on me. It's not just Greg. It's like I have clients, I have people that are counting on me and they need me. So I can't just shut it down.
No,
like,
no.
and so how much does that play a role? I feel like a lot of people feel like what they do doesn't really matter. Like if I show up, I show up. I don't show up, like whatever. I'm replaceable. Like none of you are replaceable.
Yeah.
And not just to me, which I do feel that's the case, but also like people lean on you. I feel like people lean on you guys more than they lean on me.
For sure.
In many instances. So how much did that play a part?
I mean, it played an enormous part. I mean, I, at that point, was not thinking about me and my family. I was thinking about the other people and am I going to be able to still help them in the state that we're going through right now?
Right.
Because with Helene, we didn't get affected that much. Like, yes, we lost power for several days. We did not get flooding like you did and had to deal with all of that stuff. We didn't have it that bad. So for me, I still had internet because we have a generator. We were able to plug in our Wi-Fi and everything like that. So like I was still able to work. I was not that affected. And then trying to get ready for the event in the midst of all of the storm. And then with Andrew, I remember we were on, all three of us were on a Slack huddle. You got off first because you lost power. And then about 20 minutes later, I lost power.
Right.
So I called Andrew and he's like, should we just wait until all this? I was like, nope, just make the challenge free, move everything over to free. Like you still have power. Let's just move forward with it. Like we don't have time to waste with this and we have to just pivot and change.
Right.
So that's what we did. And then not too much longer, he lost power. So we were able to still get some things done before the worst of it came. And then we had our event and then we had the next storm hit. And that one, I think, affected all of us a little bit more.
Right.
So in that time, it's really just, it's not really thinking of myself and our situation. Like we're extremely blessed that we have a house that's still standing, that we have a generator. Yes, it was like Hunger Games trying to get gas, but we had a place. Like we actually have a camper that my husband found an adapter that we can live in our camper with AC and be able to cook. Like that is a blessing. Like I will never complain about losing power or anything like that because other people lost their freaking homes. Like their homes are gone. Everything that they ever owned was gone in a flash. Like, and I just am not going to let my situation affect how we help others.
No. What's your take on it? Here, let me ask you this as well. You can give me your take, but also, at any point, did you contemplate and consider that maybe we should postpone and hold off?
No, I didn't think we needed to postpone like the challenge. Like we already put so much work into it, and I think just our mindset, like, as a team, and like what you've created is like. We'll find a way to make it work, right? And we'll figure it out one way or another. We have a great team here, and not just us three. Like shout out to everyone that's that's virtual, from our VA team to Amber to Dre to just anyone, to Ben and Michelle. Like so, like it's how powerful that we all pick up the pieces because like they even knew like okay, we know you guys are out of power. What do you guys need? Yep. So I think like. What we have here is amazing. Yeah. So, like that wasn't on my mind at all. Just cause like we always find a way to make it work.
Right.
And so there's just a lot of pivots just in general business. Like when we have events, you have to make changes last minute, like a lot of changes. And then when you throw, not one, but two hurricanes on top of it, just a lot of things. And, so I don't think we needed to shut things down. Like Brittany said, and like you said, like I was affected a lot more on the second hurricane of just like, kind of more like, oh crap, like, having to,
You evacuated.
You evacuated. Yeah. So evacuating, doing all that, trying to do stuff in between, just know how important that is, not just for us, the company, but like what we do for not just our clients, but our potential clients or the people that we serve during that event. Is just so powerful. And I think that's, having that bigger vision of being able to help potential people coming into our world, our active clients that we have now as well, like they still need help. Like 95+% of people that we serve weren't affected at all by the hurricane.
Right.
So it's just knowing that, and like didn't go the way we wanted even afterwards, because usually after the event there's certain things that we have to do afterwards, and like none of that really happened. But at the end of the day, like the chips fall where they fall, and I think as a company we're grateful for how that turned out despite everything. And
we have to make the best of it too.
Yeah.
In any situation, we need to just make the best of it and move forward.
Yeah. So I think there's a few things. I mean, one of the first things is the fact that both of you feel as though what you do really, really matters. And you feel like the people that you serve, you're serving them in a way that other people aren't able to serve them. So I feel like what all three of us felt was there really is no option. Even 50% of us is better than 0%. For sure. And if we don't do it, well, who's going to do it? Mm-hmm. And the reality is that like nobody is going to do it in the way that we do it. And we were able to help a good chunk of people. Now, just for context, it was our smallest challenge we've ever done. Mm-hmm. Our launch did not go in the way that our challenges usually go. But I feel like the week of the challenge, the week of the event, it was a 5-day event for those of you that weren't part of it, we were able to serve people in the same way that we always serve. Exactly. And so I think the first thing that I want to say to those of you that are listening is, and we did a event in Blue Ridge, Georgia, and it was the second day of the event. We had kind of like a barbecue thing out on my patio, and people were, our clients were discussing how hard it is to find good help and da-da-da. And I got really defensive. I'm like, don't tell me that. I was like what you have to do when you're having people, they got to feel like what they do matters, and not just feel it. It's because it does. And so I feel like not just you all, I know you guys are a representation of the rest of the team, Amber, Dre, and, Ben and Michelle, and, Gerardo and Rodrigo and whatnot. But what you guys do matters. It matters a lot. And yes, we have a lot of things going on, but we can't let down the mission, And so I just want to say thank you, for that.
Well, you play a big role in that too. Yeah. I mean, you're a big reason why we love what we do, and that we do feel appreciated and, respected and everything. So that's a huge thing. But also our community is amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, our community understands. We've had to make some pivots and stuff, just because of power and all the things that we're dealing with, and nobody batted an eye. Sure. They said no problem. But we're just like, okay, we have to get back to normal schedule. We have to just get back to the calls and everything, like, despite of what's happening. So our community is also amazing. They see what we bring to the table. So they actually brought it to the table this time.
Right. I think there's another big thing too. What happens when something doesn't go the way that you expected it to go? Like, I'm just thinking of the early days, like with my clinic, right? I'd have like an open house, or I would, try to go to like another business or whatnot, and thinking I was going to have like a big turnout, and then I go and at the workshop, nobody shows up, or I have all this stuff planned and one person shows up, and you're just like, oh, right. And I see so many people where when it doesn't turn out the way that they were expecting it to turn out, their energy, everything that they have goes down. Mm-hmm. And again, it's the show must go on. Yep. I'm letting you all know on this podcast, this was our lowest attended challenge we have ever run. Was the energy any different?
Nope.
Not at all. I
felt like what we brought, and actually the music worked this time too. So, I mean, there's a little hissing sound or whatever, but I felt like it was just as good, maybe probably better.
Yeah, it was.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying that to the people that are listening, because it's amazing how if things don't go the way that they thought it was going to go, their energy is in direct proportion to the result that they get.
Yeah.
Is that the case for us?
No.
No.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, and I'm guilty of this, especially like early on of, when I was like more in the entrepreneurship route and just tying so much of it to like the outcome that you put on yourself. And I think that's part of the biggest downfall for a lot of people, not just business, but just in life. Like you're putting a certain expectation in, if it doesn't hit it, then like everything goes to crap.
Right. And so can I just tell you what my mindset was, through it? For me, I look at everything as practice.
Yeah.
I look at everything as practice. I was like, no matter how, if there was 1, 2, 3, I told you before, I said we'd have probably 30, 35 people on.
And I was like, nope, we're going to have more.
We're going to have more than that. Yeah.
But,
I was like, we have 30, 35 people. So just, you guys know, like for context, like we're usually doing these challenges where we have, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 people sign up. Usually we'll have about 10 to 20% of those people show up. So I think our lowest one maybe is on the first day, maybe 250. Our highest one, like close to 400. This one, we barely cracked 100, right? But it didn't matter because to me, I'm like 100 people in a room is a lot of people. 50 people in a room is a lot of people.
Yeah.
5 people in a room to me is a lot of people. Yeah. Like, whoa, I got 5 people that are willing to listen to me. Right. So in my mind, and I'm so grateful of all the like times when things sucked so bad and I had no one. And I trained myself that the show always goes on regardless. Mm-hmm. Even if there was no one, I would still have gone through the entire challenge. But what I would have done is I would have done the evergreen version. That's it. And I would have just done it on replay. And I've been trained to just temper my expectations. Mm-hmm. And it's a hard thing as an entrepreneur, that you've got to have the big vision. Like, come on, guys, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. But then at the same time, when it doesn't go that way, you have to temper your expectations and then still not let it drop your energy. So anyways, I want to applaud both of you for not batting an eye, not bringing down your energy because of what the result at least was on the front end, right? Okay. Yeah. The next thing I would like to talk about is something that I discussed a couple of days ago in my Facebook group, and that was the power of an invincible business. And you kind of hinted on it a little bit, Britt. You said, I knew that, yes, we're going through all this stuff, and I don't want to downplay what they went through. They went through a lot, especially in Milton. Y'all really got like just hoodwinked on that one. Yeah. Okay. But you're like, look, we've got people, 95%, you said this, 95% of our people are not dealing with this. Yeah. And what I was explaining in the Facebook group was having an invincible business. Like, has our revenue really changed? No. Just for context, we were able to make like probably $60,000 in a week.
Hurricanes.
In between hurricanes.
Yeah.
Like in a week.
Yeah.
Okay, in a week from this event. And that's not great for us. But we still made $60,000, right? That's pretty cool, right? And so I'm saying that because we have an invincible business. It's not that look, I understand that our business is not above God. Okay, I understand that I could be in a car accident today. We could all somebody could come in here and shoot us up. Hopefully they don't. That door is unlocked, by the way. Okay, but no, I understand that like things can happen. Yeah. But a natural disaster couldn't take this out.
No, not at all.
Right? I mean, it couldn't take it out.
That's why the work doesn't change.
Right. It doesn't change. Right. And so I'm wondering, like, I'm just thinking of like Kuhi coconut down by the beach or haze or sweet sage. It's like, they got destroyed and their customers' lives got destroyed. So there is no business, at least at the current time.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, we have a business that has a lot of resistance to these types of things that are going on. An invincible business to where like it didn't change the life for 95% of our customer base. So we still got paid by 95% of our customer base, even though like so much of our community's lives came to a halt.
Yeah. Right.
How does it feel to you all working in an invincible business model?
I think it's amazing. I think it's also a testament to our clients that see how we're functioning and working through this,
Right.
so that they know what they need to do. So I think it's not just us, because we know this business runs 24/7.
Right.
But I think it shows our clients and our future clients what it takes to have this type of business. And we're not batting an eye with 2 hurricanes that came and,
Right.
first time ever that 2 hurricanes came like back to back like this.
Yeah.
But our business didn't stop, and it's not going to stop. Like, unless there is some freaking internet cyber thing that takes us all out, that's the only time we would.
And then
stop
that just
business.
takes everybody out. That takes out the non-invincible businesses and the invincible businesses, because they can't take payment, and we can't take payment. Fine, then everybody's out.
So that's the only thing, is like, I think it just proves why you need to have an invincible business,
Right?
Because we were not needing to stop anything.
There was at one point, I don't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday. We don't need to say the person's name on here, but basically, we're all like, kind of like dealing with hurricane fatigue at this point.
Yeah.
I'm evacuated. I'm trying to head back. You guys are like, I think probably on day 4 without power. That point, and there was just a message that came through from somebody. It's like, hey, I want to give you guys $5,000. Can my business partner be a part of this program? And I think I might have texted you like, hey, can you answer that person? I don't know who it is. And we did, and then $5,000 just came to our account just like that. And it was that simple. It was that simple because of what we did from before, because we have, and by the way, I didn't see this person that said that, I didn't see them I did not recognize them at any point in the challenge. Yep. But you guys, we have the ability to give people value 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. By the way, it's not just always a 5-day event. It's through our opt-ins. It's through our email. It's through me doing Facebook Lives. It's just having a group that's just up and runs, and people can hear things and be like, oh my gosh, that just hit me at that time. And then want to actually work with you. It's like the coolest thing in the world. Yeah. I mean, you talk about having an insurance policy. That's like the greatest insurance policy you can have. It's just having a model that works like that. So anyways, do you have any other takes on it?
Yeah. I think Brittany hit from the business side of things of, why it's important to have an invincible business. And I know you've talked about that on, other podcasts and things like that as well. And I think that's the big thing that we harp on as our business. And I think the other side of it, and we're all in a group text messaging each other during the hurricane and things like that. And which I get, like, it's hard to be on your side of things as, the entrepreneur, and it's like, oh, do we go back to work and try not to be like too insensitive about it, things like that. And I was just like, I was kind of like, it really wasn't, I feel like it wasn't that long, but it's just like, I'm just trying to like recollect certain memories over the last 2-3 weeks. And I think certain parts are just like missing because it was kind of a blur.
Yeah.
But I was like, so I was just like, I need to get back.
Okay, all right. Let me set this up because I want them to get some context with this.
Yeah.
So the 3 of us are in a group chat. It was Sunday evening. I think I sent this.
Yeah.
They still don't have power. And there's just so much going on. It's just very heavy. Mm-hmm. It's just very heavy, Mm-hmm. And I know we have an invincible business, right? So I know that we don't have to go back to work, but I also know what work is to us.
Well, we don't have to go back to the office.
We don't have to go back to the office.
But there are still things that need to be done. Yes.
And so I didn't want to make it mandatory. So I just said, let me reach out to these 2 before we talk to the rest of the team.
Right.
And so I said, well, what do you guys want to do? Should we have our Monday meeting? And AT was actually the first one to reach out and say, like, I'm going back. Now that I'm thinking about it, he's probably like, they got AC up there.
No, honestly, I'm in AC in like 4 or 5 days. I don't have electricity. I don't have Wi-Fi. I was like, let me go in.
But I also feel as though, at least to me, I wanted you guys to say yes, not for the meeting aspect, just more for us just to be able to be together. Yeah. And so I say that to you all because, it's in your best interest if you're going to have people that are working with you well, first of all, let me just say this. It's in your best interest to have people working with you. Okay. So that, when one is down, the others are up and the others can handle things. And I know that that's how we all feel about each other. So it's like, look, man, if I got some stuff going on right now, y'all have my back? Okay, cool. And that's how it is. It's kind of like this little triangle effect, you know, and I want to leave out the rest of the team, but we're here locally. Okay. So, that's a great feeling. You know, it's also a great feeling to know when all three of us are down, like we know that Dre was still able to do his thing and Rodrigo was still able to do his thing. And, you know, Amber still had our back and da-da-da-da-da.
For sure.
Yeah, and every day, you know, they were all like, what can we do? What can we do? Right. And I remember texting you Friday after the storm, like, hey, I need an email from you for today, and I need 3 emails for you for next week.
And that was very good for me. It's like, it also was like, listen, man, you know, because you can start to feel sorry for yourself, you know? It's like, lost everything, lost all this stuff, da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, hey, listen, come on, buddy, get your crap together. Get me an email. And I gave it to you.
You did.
I did. I was like, okay, I got it. I got it. Writing up emails, da-da-da-da-da, whatever.
Well, and then I could only do so much because my internet was still very spotty, because with Milton, it basically took down a lot of internet companies. Yeah. So the internet was extremely spotty. It was very hard to get. And I remember Friday morning just being able to actually log on and like do a couple of things. I was like, okay, this is good. And that's when I was like texting you. And then it hit and I was like, I can't do anything. So I had to walk you through the entire process.
Yeah,
on how to
screwed
send
it up.
You did. It's okay. You did, but it's fine. But I mean, that I could have just been like, okay, well, we can't send an email today. Yeah. But we didn't. Like, it doesn't, like, you were in Georgia. Yeah. You had Wi-Fi. You were good. You could do all of the things. And all I had to do was walk you through it. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, where it doesn't matter what happened to us, because the rest of the people out there are still looking at us like they still need help. Right. Like they need help. They need the value that we provide to them. So none of that stops.
I think the big thing that I want every single one of you to get away from this interview or this conversation that we're having is that Mother Nature and Father Time are undefeated. Mother Nature and Father Time will eventually get you. So the question is that when it does happen, what's going to happen to you?
It will be something.
It's going to be something.
It is going to be something.
Okay. And so Mother Nature might be a hurricane for you. It might not. It might be a fire. It might be a storm. Tornado. It might be massive outages in your area. It might be a cyber attack. We've seen it all happen this year. We've seen it all happen. We've seen people that have had to drop out of our programs because in a 45-minute span, a cyber attack happened. And their business wasn't really invincible. Yeah. It wasn't set up. Like, it wasn't set up for them to be able to handle that. Yep. Right? So it's just a matter of time, right? And then there's Father Time. And Father Time has hit me probably 3 times in my career where my body couldn't do it. Right? My body couldn't do it for my clinics. My body couldn't do it the time that I got COVID. And I had to be hospitalized because I was having all the syncope episodes, you know, and the second time that I had all my autoimmune issues. Father Time will eventually hit you. Father Time's undefeated. Okay. Yeah. So what will happen? Can you continue? Do you have a process to be able to make money? Do you have a process to where, hey, you know what? I have already given out so much value 24/7 and I have a way for people to come into my world 24/7? Do you have a team of people? Do you have a team of people that care? That have your back? If not, like, you probably have some soul searching to do right now, you know? Because Mother Nature and Father Time are undefeated, and they will always get you. Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts?
I think the biggest thing, so I know like a lot of this conversation has been about, you know, Mother Nature and Father Time, which you just echoed up on. But I think just taking that even further of like at the end of the day, like life happens, even if it isn't, you know, Mother Nature. Like stuff can happen with like relationships, with your family, just random things. Like your car could break down, you can get into an accident, like just anything can happen. And I think a lot of times is like how you respond to that. Like not to like downplay anything that happened with us or any of those situations, but it's like have the time to process grief and things like that. But also being able to bounce back and how you respond to that, because like life is gonna life. And I think that's the biggest thing I've learned just, especially over the last few years and just even the last couple of weeks. I think that's what makes you, like, shows who you are as a person of like how you respond to adversity. Yeah. And I think that's where it can break a lot of people, but it can make you to a whole nother, like, I think for a lot of people, like it's going to, break a lot. It's broken a lot of people, but it's just like, how can you rebuild from that?
Right.
Not just a business, but from life, from personal aspects, spiritual self, and all of that. So.
Yeah. And I think you have to learn how to adapt to any situation and be a chameleon. Like you have to, because anytime something happens to me, I don't say this is happening to me, it's happening for me. And I need to figure out what can I do to make this situation either better or work in my favor, or just say, okay, that happened. That is now in the past. How do I move forward with this? Because you can stay in the past, but you ain't going to go nowhere.
Right.
And that takes out a lot of people. Yeah. And there is a lot of devastation with these storms, not just here in Florida and Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, all the way up to Ohio and Virginia. Yeah. And these people still have to continue with their life. Like every day keeps moving forward. Like that's it. So how are you going to respond to that? How are you going to move forward and say, okay, this happened to me and it really sucked, but what am I going to do to move forward?
Right. I wanted to do this episode, and I asked, the two of them, would you do this episode? Because I think many of you that are listening, you aren't doing the things that we just did. Yeah. You've created a best case scenario, and your best case scenario is unrealistic. And that's the only way you can have success is if the best case scenario happens. And that usually is not the case.
And you need to plan for the worst case scenario and move forward.
Right. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Yes.
Yep. Right. And so when your best case scenario is the only way you're going to win, you pretty much have lost. Yeah. We can predict you're going to lose. Yeah. So then I know that. So I think that's one of the big things that I need you all to understand. And unfortunately, we live in a world of where people can put only their highlights. So you will assume, based on what you see projected, that these people don't have any problems. They're not talking about their problems. Okay, we are the very few that are like, we're going to share with you. We share with you on this episode numbers. We share with you. We share with you everything. Like, and I'm not going to hide that. I'm not, just because I'm a coach, consultant, mentor, whatever. Like, no, I like, things don't go well for me, like, many times as well. You know what I mean? So, but it's how we respond to it. And then, so I think the first thing I want to tell you right now, yes, you that's listening, is that the best case scenario is that if that's the only way you can win, you are screwed. You are screwed, because life will eventually life you. And as AT said, it doesn't have to be, Father Time. It doesn't have to be Mother Nature. It could be a relationship. If your boyfriend, your girlfriend breaking with you right now, you done for like a month. You done for a year. Some of y'all done for a year. Some of y'all gonna leave your business, right? This happens, this happens, this happens. Something happens to your kid, something happens to your dog. Like, goodness gracious. Like, you're out. You're just one life event away from losing. So you really got to ask yourself, how do I, like, bulletproof? Not just how do I create an invincible business? How do I become more invincible? Yeah. Like, how do I become more resilient? So I think that's the first thing. And then some of you are probably saying, well, I am all those things you said. I just don't have a team that can be like that. Well, then, you know something? Yeah, because I do believe that as a leader, your people feed off of you. They feed off of you. They feed off of, like if you're just like, well, they're going to be as well. So like, have you created an environment, a culture where people actually feel like their work is meaningful to where they want to try to figure it out? Or have you created an environment where people are like, screw it. Great. This is a way out. This storm's okay. This is a way out, you know? So what have you created? And so anyways, that's what I want you all thinking about as you have listened to this, and maybe go back and listen to this again. So I just want to end it by just saying, I'm just really grateful and thankful for the both of you, not just as what you do for the community and what you've done for this mission, but also just as friends. You know what I mean? It's really nice to go through these, not to go through the things, but it's nice to have people that, you know, genuinely like have your back and care for you.
Well, it has been great just to, like, you know, we've all checked on each other. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's very important with a team as well. And Amber, God bless her, she was like so worried about everybody. Like after the fact, she's like, oh my God, I was looking at this and I was so worried, but I didn't want to stress you out. I was like, I know. But she checked every day and you know, Dre, any way he could message, you know, me or Andrew or you, like he did. And that's very important in a team because we have each other's back.
Yeah. You guys, if you want to have people that work not only hard for you, but and I know as an entrepreneur, many of you you can't even sleep good because you're so afraid that your people are going to leave and this and that and da-da-da-da-da. And because of that, you don't want to give a lot to your people because you already feel like they've got one foot out the door. Listen, let me tell you something. Create an environment where it's a family. I'm not saying people won't leave. People are going to leave. But if they do leave, you're happy for them because you know it might be a better thing for them because you actually truly love them. But many times they won't leave because they're like, I got my family. I ain't going anywhere. Either way, you win. So anyways, I just want to say thank you to you all. And I hope this episode blessed those of you that were listening. So we'll see you on the next episode. Till next time.
That was easy.